In today's video, we are once again in North Wales. Once again, we're also on the Ash Road. For those of you who don't know, the Ash Road is actually called the A55, but when you look at the sign, it just looks like it says Ash. As you can see, on this particular day, the weather was very wet, which, coupled with the lack of driving ability on today's roads, leads to a lot of accidents. This being the second one that we'd seen within a short space of time. Further along the A55, and there were reports of an even more serious accident with the road being closed. So I took the opportunity to take the back road. It's at this point where the A55 acts as a bypass for the towns of Tywyn, Rhyl, and the subject of today's video, which if it was in England, would be called Preston. The A548 is the road that will take us through the town that we're going to be looking at today. And it's near to this town that we're going to talk about not one, but two ships that should have been at sea, that weren't. The idea for one of the ships being absolutely genius, whilst the other one, not so much. There's also something that I need your help with, because I'm hugely confused.
I'm hugely confused, Ted.
This town was once the unlikely setting for a massive distribution centre, and there's something about it driving me slightly mad.
I'm going slightly mad.
Today, we're in and around the town of Prestatyn, so let's discuss it. One trucker's eye.
Ship to shore, do you read me anymore? The trucker's eye, the trucker's eye, the trucker's eye, the trucker's eye.
Prestatyn in Denbighshire, North Wales, is home to around 20,000 people. The name Prestatyn is derived from Old English words for priest and tun. Priest being priost, and tun being homestead. Old English names generally lost their penultimate syllable. Preston in Lancashire in England being a prime example. Prest being the priest, and tun being the word used for the homestead. So it appears by translation that Prestatyn would have been called Preston had it been in England. Along with being home to 20,000 people, Prestatyn was also the home to one of Britain's biggest supermarket chains.
If only I had more time.
Extra hands
And bigger savings.
on famous brands.
Now, QuickSave give you more of what you come to QuickSave for.
You'll get it always at QuickSave.
A man called Albert Goubet founded a company called Value Foods in 1959. This company went on to be the much-loved QuickSave. The company was founded in Prestatyn and opened their first store in Valley Street in Rhyl, just down the road, a couple of months later. Now, some of you might be looking at the video thinking there's not many trucks on this road, or even that you'd get many trucks down here at all. But up until 1998, trucks were frequently in and out of this little small road on the left-hand side, as this was the unlikely setting for QuickSave's distribution centre and also their head office. Since QuickSave left the site in 1988, it was left to become derelict, and it was only just very recently that the site was developed into new industrial units. Luckily for us, we still have Google Maps, and the current Google Maps still hasn't been updated from the old warehouse, so we can still drive down there as it was in 2023. As I understand it, there are a couple of buildings that remain from the old site, with this building being one of them. Moving along Warren Drive, you can see the old warehousing. But down at the end of the road, you can still see that the building that was the offices and the headquarters are still in place.
I'm going slightly mad. Help! Help! Help!
Now, as you can see, we're crossing the railway line and we're heading towards Flint. Now, I started driving trucks back in 1995. Prior to that, I was working on the bread. Basically, we deliver bread to around 30 to 40 shops every day, and one of those runs just happened to be the North Wales run. Just around this bend is one of the shops that we used to deliver to, as it used to be a petrol forecourt. Today, it's a Peugeot motor dealership, but back in the day it used to be called Drivers, and it used to sell Rover cars. And we'll see that once we carry on. But this is really confusing me. Am I correct in saying that there was a trailer park where QuickSave used to keep all of their trailers up on the right hand side where these houses are? Something in my memory just tells me that there was a trailer park up on the hill on the right hand side. But I can't find a single thing on the internet to tell me if that was true. So if anybody actually knows, could you let me know? Because it's driving me. What seems like such a clear memory in my head has now got me questioning everything.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance.
Just before we head up the road to something a little more fun, this is the garage on the right hand side, and this is something that I definitely do remember. This was originally called Drivers, and they used to sell Rover cars. So if I'm remembering that from over 30 years ago, surely I'm remembering the trailer park, right?
I'm going slightly mad.
This is the TSS Duke of Lancaster. It sits just off the A548, near to a place called Moston, which is just up the road from Prestatyn. It was launched in 1955 after being built at Harland de Wolff, the same place in Belfast that built the Titanic. But whereas the Titanic sank, this boat never will. During the years of her service, she was used as a British Railways passenger ferry. She was also used on the Heysham to Belfast ferry route, and even had a stint as a cruise liner. Well, probably not like that, but the Duke of Lancaster found her way into North Wales in 1979, and the reason for it was absolutely genius. At this point, the ship's owner was a man by the name of John Rowley. Mr. Rowley's idea was to turn the ship into a business venture and retail complex named the Fun Ship. At the time, there were strict Sunday trading laws. However, these did not apply to ships, so even though the ship would be alongside, it could still be boarded by people who wanted to do a bit of shopping. But subsequently, many legal battles followed between the owners of the ship and the local council, which saw the owners in 2004 walk away from the project. Subsequent owners have faced similar issues, but despite many different plans across the years, the ship sits abandoned, beached, just off the A548. And whilst their hull is rusting, the ship is structurally still intact. During the 1980s, following storms, the ship was deliberately beached using sand and aggregates. But ironically, not 1 mile further back along the A548, another ship was also beached. The only problem being, it wasn't actually meant to be. This almost empty village is the village of Moston, and between 2001 and 2004, it hosted one of the world's biggest shipping companies. P&O Irish Ferries had moved some of their service from Liverpool to the port of Moston. The plan would have greatly improved ferry crossing times between the UK and Ireland. Of course, that's not inclusive of the Holyhead crossing, but after just 3 short years, the route was scrapped. P&O cited low passenger numbers and the dredging of the estuary as the problem. With that constant need for the estuary to be dredged, the P&O timetable became erratic. However, this was still not enough to put another massive global company off from having a boat in the port. Airbus has a factory not too far away from Moston, and it was at their factory in Broughton where they manufactured those huge wings for the Airbus A380. And it was from this very port where those huge wings were shipped off to their destination. The first wings being shipped from the port in 2004. But during a storm in 2013, the Ciudad de Cadiz, which transports Airbus wings from Flintshire to France, broke free from its moorings and ended up beaching on Salisbury Bank. And with the P&O ferries being more or less the same size, you could possibly see one of the reasons they actually decided to leave Moston. But that didn't stop them returning. 2 months after the last Airbus wings left Moston, Norbank, one of the P&O Irish ferries, performed berthing trials in the month of April 2020. P&O had been in dispute with the Port of Liverpool, which led to Norbank diverting from its usual route. Norbank stayed berthed for around an hour before returning back to Dublin. Subsequently, nothing actually came of the berthing trials, and P&O also went on to leave their Port of Liverpool berth from 2023. And speaking of leaving, that's exactly what we need to do, as we've reached the end of the video once again. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, then please give it a thumbs up. A massive shout out to anybody who continues to like, share and comment on these videos. As ever, the biggest thank yous go to anybody who spent their hard-earned money buying me a coffee or buying a super thanks on the channel. If you do wish to buy me a coffee, you can use the QR code on the screen right now. Obviously, there's no obligation to do so. You can also find the music used in previous videos on The Trucker's Eye on all good streaming sites such as Spotify and Apple Music. I'm going to leave you with some rainy footage of the fantastic Flintshire Bridge, which was built in 1998, with the next song being available on our country rock album from 2026. I'll see you all next time. On The Trucker's Eye!
Splits open, no turning back. Whispers crawl like snakes through the night. Empty streets with shadows.